Hello, everybody. My name is Kanye M, and welcome to On The Couch. Hey, cuties. Welcome back to yet another episode of On The Couch with your girl, Kay. I don't think I'm going to let go of that intro anytime soon, and I really didn't want it to be my brand, but Kay. Let me not, yeah, let's not yap on that part. So yeah, happy new week. I hope you guys had an amazing week last week. Somebody was actually asking me how my week was, and I couldn't even think of an answer. Like, I think last week, I can't even remember what happened. I just know that the weekend was insanely busy. That during the week I didn't even have time to like answer texts. But yeah, last week had hands, but it ended on a very lovely note. Like, our Sunday church service was everything and everything. We were being rebuked. I was highly, highly, highly convicted, but it was such an amazing service. I felt really, really, really blessed. Okay, I don't like. But anyway, happy new week is what I was saying, and that's how we got there. And before we get into this week's couch confession, in fact, I just want to say that I don't have my full equipment as I'm recording this. So I'm really, really hoping that my sound is not going to betray me. But yeah, if it betrays me, I'm going to have to re-record, which I honestly don't mind. But anyway, let's get into this week's couch confession. So, my couch confession for the week is very positive. I figured that this time around, let's go with something positive because last week I was too vulnerable. I mean, I'm going to be vulnerable now as well, but I figured no, let's do something that's very sweet and somewhat positive and something that doesn't make us now pull out our journals and start digging deep because I feel like every episode has us doing that. Yet to give you guys a fun episode, I promise you. But anyway, on today's couch confession, I just want to speak about how the Lord has really blessed me with amazing people in my life. Like, and I want to start with like my immediate family. Not to say that my extended family is not, let me just put out that disclaimer, love them down, okay? Love them down. But I am particularly, or I am highlighting in particular, my immediate family because those are the people that are kind of carrying me in this season of my life. And yeah, man, I'm just realizing Uguti, God really blessed me with a bunch of amazing people. Like, my mom and my sister in particular are really making me fall in love with girlhood. Like, and I have a younger brother who's just as amazing, and I love and I adore him. But yeah, he's a gent, so he doesn't really understand girlhood. But yeah, my mom and my sister are just playing such an important role in my life in the season. And I don't think they really understand that, or to be quite fair, I don't really communicate it. I mean, as much as I should, but I am insanely grateful. Like, the Lord knows my heart when it comes to those two women. Like, the Lord blessed me with an amazing bunch. And before I actually extend the sentiments in my heart, man, like, they make life so sweet. Like, they make life so sweet, right down to like the serious, gory details of life, to like the sweet, fun, and flirty things. Like, just earlier this evening, my mom and my sister were on FaceTime, or rather, my sister were on FaceTime with my mom, and we were like girl gossiping, right? Like, a healthy amount of gossip, like catching up. Gore, oh, mom, this is what happened. This is like Sana. And it is in that moment that I realized that my mom is actually my best friend. And my sister is also my best friend. And I think that, especially with also, taking into consideration that some people are not blessed. Some people don't have the privilege of saying that their mom is their best friend. Some people don't have the privilege of saying that their sisters, especially like an older sister, is their best friend. And so, yeah, that's my couch confession for the week, that the Lord has really blessed me with an amazing bunch. Like, even my cousins, I come from a family of predominantly women. Like my cousins are predominantly women, and those people are a bunch of amazing people, a bunch of cool people, a bunch of funny people. Like I proper laugh when I'm with my cousins. Like I laugh out like the ugliest laugh that I have comes out. So that's really what I'm talking about when I say that the Lord has really rallied up the most amazing people around me. And I think now to even extend it outside of family and into my friends, I've always been a person who's just like, yo, I don't have friends, I don't have friends, I don't have friends. For the longest time, I've never really had friends. This is outside of high school, but I also think that, and I stand to be corrected, but in my own experience, and this is not, of course, dumbing down any of the friendships that I had, I've had quite amazing friendships, but I think that in the absence of a fully developed frontal lobe, or rather, actually, this is a better way to put it. Sometimes we formulate and build and establish friendships because we work together or because we're in the same class. And so, particularly in high school, you become friends with a lot of people because you see each other like 5 times a week. And in the absence of that, some friendships do dwindle and they just fall away and they become null and void. Yeah, I wasn't entirely sure where I was going with this, but I think I just wanted to labor the point that I'm not like dumbing down and negating the fact that I had amazing friends in high school, but I'm just saying that now that I'm an adult, and I think that I can call myself that. I'm not a young adult anymore. I am in the thick of my mid-20s. I'm stuck smack bang in the middle of my mid-20s. So I think it's healthy to no longer call myself a young adult. I'm an adult. I'm not a young adult. I'm an adult. But yeah, just navigating life as an adult and navigating adult friendships as well. You really do just get to see Yoguti. Okay, some of the friendships that you had in high school were because of that you saw each other 5 times a week. But yeah, again, I was saying that to say that I've always been somebody that has walked into a room and has never really fit in, has never really felt like they belonged, never really felt like, okay, these are my people, or I've met my people. And I guess to an extent I still do feel like that. But even with the people that I have in my life right now, like God has given me the best, like the absolute best. And I'm also not like a trio group friendship person. I don't do well in those. I like them from a distance. I bow wow a friendship group from a distance, but I know I'm not a girl group girly. But yeah, I'm saying that to say that all of my friends literally exist in islands. I have currently a friend that lives in Cape Town that I met by chance, and thank God I met her. And another thing that I've realized with my friendships, maybe I should have like a podcast episode on friendships, to be quite honest. But another thing that I realized about my friendships is that I met all of my friends in the most random way. And I'm actually hoping that I meet my husband in the most random way as well. I will always just like, it must be such a random encounter, but yeah, I have a friend that lives in Cape Town. I have a friend that I would like to think she's a nomad. Like she's primarily based in South Africa, but you can wake up and the girlie will be in Dubai for a couple of months. I have a friend who's in and out of Cape Town and Johannesburg currently. Like all of my friends are just scattered. And then I have not even all, I think I have about 4 friends, to be quite honest. And I really do the math. But yeah, even if we're all like located in Johannesburg, it's like different parts of Johannesburg and they all don't know each other. They know of each other, but they don't know each other. And so yeah, saying all of that to say that I've never really had that in my life. And so now that I'm experiencing it, I'm just realizing that the Lord has given me only the best. Like I look at those women in their own individual capacities, and it's women that are good people. Like if there's anything that they all have in common, they are good people. They love people. They don't have a fiber of hatred in their hearts. These are not people that wake up and decide to like gossip and have like, kerfuffles with people. Like it's like, man, God has just blessed me with women that have the kindest hearts. And it's something that I've been pondering a lot on over the past couple of months, that like I look at them and I'm in awe of the women that they are. And then there's a part of me that thinks that if that's what I attract, then surely the Lord has built in me something that is just like, I don't know. I don't know how to express this without sounding pompous, but I have an appreciation for who I am because of the people that I look at and the people that I have around me and the people that are close to me, right? I mentioned my sister at the top of my Kouch Confession that she's my best friend. And looking at the person that my sister is, I'm in awe of who she is. I look at the person that my best friend is and I'm in awe of who she is. I look at the person that my close friends are and I'm in awe of who they are in their own individual capacity. And I can't help but think of myself in a good light as well. I can't help but also think of myself as a good person, because 9 out of 10 times, guys, we speak so ill of ourselves. And there's actually a saying that does go that you are the result of 5 people around you. And if I just look at the zero point 0.5 friends that I have and I look at my sister, I even look at my mom in all her madness, because my mom is, wow, love her down though. And for me to even say that, like, one of the things that I realized about my mom is that she gave birth to herself through me, everything. But anyway, conversation for another day. So when I look at the woman around me, I can't help but like think very highly of myself in the most humble way, if I can put it like that, because I'm surrounded by an amazing bunch of women, and it fills my heart with so much gratitude to say that. I feel so good saying that, because I'm so grateful also that I get to be surrounded by such amazing women. Because also another thing that I've learned this year, in the first quarter of this year, is that not everybody has the best intentions. Not everybody thinks positive thoughts about other people or just in general. And so that's also the biggest reason why I've kind of been pondering. I want to mix the word pondering and pompous. My goodness. Why I've been pondering on the fact that God has really blessed me with an amazing inner circle. Like, all of my friends inspire me. All of my friends inspire me. I almost, yeah, I think, let me go down the list a bit. So when I think of my best friend, um, that is someone that is so radical, it's not even funny. And I think that's one big thing that we have in common. I mean, also in our journeys are very similar, but they're very different. And we're also very similar, but very different. But my best friend is very radical. And she's one person that says, this is what the Lord says I must do, and this is what I'm going to do. And I look up to that. That's something that I love about her. And she's funny. And also, I think I actually can't believe how funny my best friend is. Okay, guys, this is not a conversation about friendship, okay? But let me wrap up my couch confession. So I was just saying that I think I'm in awe of how funny my best friend is. And because of how, like, especially because we met at church, but story for another day. But yeah, especially because we met at church, and I hate that, like, we think that people at church aren't funny or they can't be fun or they, but I met her as a very serious lady. So when I began to like peel off the layers off of her and just seeing how funny and ridiculous she is, and I always say this to her, that people who don't know you will not believe that this is you. And I think that is one of the biggest reasons why I love her laugh. I love hearing my best friend laugh. Like, that to me is music to my ears. I absolutely love it. But anyway, I wanted to do a little quick rundown. And then I have another friend who's also very radical, a person that wakes up and says, I'm moving to Dubai. Are you joking? Are you joking? A person that says, I want to be a global brand. I'm trying not to be too specific with my chummies and their personal lives, but she actually inspired my journey of leaving my job. She's the person that I spoke to before I made the radical decision of leaving my job. That I woke up one day and I didn't even know that I was going to resign, but we met up for breakfast. I went back to work and I resigned, I think, at the end of that very same day. So it's also just the impact that these people have, in my life, that a phone call with my best friend that would go on for so long. At the end of that call, I'm just like, okay, I might even leave that phone call with the intention to fast. Like, before I got into the phone call, I didn't think I was gonna fast. And then I have another friend who's located in Cape Town who has the sweetest, most gentle heart, like the most loving person. She is so loving. She exudes elegance. She exudes grace. And again, those are things that I believe we have in common, right? Me pulling and borrowing from people's first impressions of me. But yeah, so there's just something in all of my friends that I really, really look up to. And then there's another friend that I met at a drive-through in McDonald's. Guys, crazy, crazy, crazy things. But her heart for Jesus is something that makes me look up to her. And she's even my junior. Not that it matters or anything, but it just goes to show that, guys, a person's heart really does matter. Like, it really, really does matter. But yeah, my couch confession in summary is that the Lord has really rallied up some of the most amazing individuals that He's given to me as relatives, my cousins, the best people emhlabeni, like the best people emhlabeni with the best intentions for everybody. Like, nobody has ill intent in their heart, and that's something that I really, really love and admire. Again, my mom and my sister are two people that are amazing. Like, there's this trend on TikTok that where people say that people are constantly saying that no one's coming to save you, no one's coming to save you. My mom and my sister are. I could be dying. I could be laughing with you and saying no one's coming to save you. I know that as soon as I leave that conversation, my safe landing is my mom and my sister, you know. And so, yeah, that's my couch confession, and something that I'm really, really grateful for. Walking out of the first quarter of this year into the second quarter, it's something that I am insanely, insanely, insanely grateful for. The Lord has really rallied up quite amazing individuals, yeah, for me to do life with. So that's my couch confession. Anyway, moving on to our episode. So today, and I think also the couch confession does it introduces the episode quite perfectly, in that we are going to be seated with validation, the root, because I want us to speak about the root of why it is that we seek validation so much. And this is something that slipped my mind to do in the preparations for this episode, but I want to look up the definition for validation. And the reason why I want to speak to validation, I just really want us to understand why we seek validation so much. Like, why is the confession of the Lord over our lives not enough? Right? And for the people who are going to think that I'm too spiritual, why are you not rooted in yourself enough that you want to be validated by other people? Why are you giving us the responsibility of you being okay with yourself? That's a bar. That's actually crazy. Like that, why are we handing over the responsibility of us being comfortable in our own bodies, in our own minds, in our own hearts, in our own lives, in our own persons in their entirety? Why are we handing over the responsibility of us being comfortable in that to other people? Like, why do we want to be validated by man so much? But let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at the definition of validation before I get into it. And the reason why I like defining things is because it gives the conversation, it gives the topic of conversation like a bit more perspective. Because I think that also when we think about something on surface level, we don't really, like, you're not really deeping a situation, but you really do deep it when you understand like the definition behind it, right? And so the very first definition that I'm getting of what validation means is that validation is the act of checking, proving, or confirming that something is true, correct, legal, or that it meets specific requirements. So validation means the feeling that other people approve of or accept you, or something that gives you that feeling. Why is it that we aspire so much to be accepted by people? Like, why is self-acceptance not enough? Like, let's put aside being accepted by God, which is crazy, because why is being accepted by the King of Kings not enough for you, that you still want sign off from man. And the reason why I wanted to speak about this is because a little bit of context. So I grew up as a very confident child, which for some of my childhood experiences, like when I draw back to like my childhood and my youth and all of that good stuff, and like seeing some of the things that I experienced as a child, I'm just like, okay, I'm not really sure where the confidence was coming from. But I grew up as a very confident child. Like I never had especially as a teenager, a stage where I felt like I wasn't pretty. Not that like that's like the end all and be all, but I've never really been insecure about myself. I think the only thing that I've only been insecure about was like my weight. Not necessarily my weight, but just being skinny. But also that wasn't like an innate thing, it was because of can I call it bullying? I think I'll call it bullying. I'll call it that. I'll call it that. But yeah, but otherwise, also it wasn't the insecurity of that didn't necessarily come from a place of like me believing or go say, oh my gosh, I'm like so skinny and like no, it was constantly hearing somebody say something in reference to me being, and so that's why it was there. But in the absence of that voice, like I've always just been a confident child. I've always just known that I'm smart, I'm beautiful. I've always known that I'm worthy. I've always, but yeah, I don't want to labor like that point too much. Um, this is something, of course, that kind of, yeah, that got carried into my adult life. Of course, there were experiences that stripped it away, but working on healing and journeying with the Lord, that was restored. But I just want to say that the core of me has always just been a very confident child, that I've never been somebody that sought out validation, right? This, of course, wasn't until I then got into spaces where I don't necessarily want to call it scrutiny, but something very close to that, and understanding that I'm being so closely monitored. I'm being punished for being a confident person, a person that believes in herself, and a person that holds herself in high esteem, not in a pompous fashion, of course, but just being criticized for being who I am, that I started shying away from who I am. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the result of that was then seeking validation. Because remember, also at the top of my Kouch Confession, one of the things that I mentioned was that I've always been a person that walked into a room and never necessarily felt like they belonged or felt like they fit in. And so that's why also now my inclination is just existing and sitting on my own. And a proclivity is that if I walk into a room, I'll most probably gravitate towards one person, and I'll have really like a close engagement with that. I'll engage with everybody else in the room, but I'll more so like engage with that one person that I gravitated towards. But anyway, I'm gonna drift and I'm gonna forget. But yeah, so then you getting into spaces where you're getting criticized for who you are, then the desire to be accepted starts seeping in. And what that does is that it made me kind of pull away from being myself and kind of just like dumbing down who I am and being very cautious of how I show up, like you being less confident. It's almost like if I could paint the picture, the picture that I would paint is like I'm seeing myself and I would shrink and draw all the way back to myself. And I'm like this existing shell that is going to be filled by the people in the room that I'm in. And I hated this for myself, because like I said, like I shied away from who I am, and I find a lot of fulfillment in being myself and being my full self, right? That whether validation comes or not, it doesn't really matter for me. I'm still gonna live my life. Like at the core, that's who I am. But I had flipped into this person now that just became a shell of herself and wanted to be accepted. And that's what validation is, right? Wanting people to approve of you and wanting people to validate you. Hated that for me down, Kasana, pardon me. But yeah, I essentially handed over the keys of being comfortable with myself to other people. I handed over the keys of being comfortable in my confident self to other people, which I shouldn't have done, right? But that's one example. low-key forgot where I was going with that thought, but I want to pull another example of kind of just settling into myself and being very confident in myself and, well, maintaining that standard, is that when I started ministering the word of the Lord or sharing the word of the Lord, I don't know, I have just this weird relationship with referring to myself as a minister because I have not been officially ordained, but I do share and minister the word of the Lord. And when I started realizing like my graces in ministering the word of the Lord, understanding that I'm an individual that really is graced in utterance, and I didn't even know this until somebody mentioned it to me, that it's a gift. It's something that the Lord has laid upon you. For the longest time, I thought this is how everybody speaks, that everyone has the ability to perfectly and accurately articulate themselves, that it doesn't take too much, like it's not hard for people to navigate a room when they speak and stuff like that. And so somebody made me aware of the fact that my ability to do that is a gift, that you're graced with utterance. And so I started understanding that. And then I also started understanding that my ministry is the kind of ministry that majors in revelation, in the sense that, again, pulling from, I think I mentioned this in one of the episodes, that my name being Kanye is so that I can be an illuminator, hence illuminated living as well. That a part of my purpose, my mandate, my assignment is to bring clarity to the body of Christ. And so my ministry majors in revelation, that it brings clarity. When I minister, it's in the aim of bringing clarity regarding the word of the Lord and what the intention of the Lord is for man. And so when I understood that the combination of both of those things can work a crowd, I started saying to God that I don't want to be validated by your people, because I understand the dangers of that as well. And I remember somebody saying this, that we're not even supposed to get a high from ministering to people and them coming to us and saying, oh my gosh, you did so well, you did so well, you did so well. I shy away from those instances, but yeah, I'm gonna go off on a complete tangent. I want to sit on the fact that I started saying to God, when I started understanding like my gracings or my giftings and the way that I minister, and how really and truly that which I speak has the ability of piercing the heart of man, that when people come to me after, they'd be like, oh my word, you did so well. I started saying to God that I only want you to validate me. And that comes with its dangers. It comes with its dangers that if you don't fully understand, you know what that does? Because we are man. Like if somebody doesn't say, good job, well done, you feel like you didn't do a good job, but I didn't want to get there. The intention of me saying to the Lord that I only want to be validated by you, I don't want your people to validate me, is because I wanted to cement myself, because this is how I started. And so when I started seeing or experiencing the how can I say this, the praise of man after speaking, then I went back to God and I said that because I wanted to go back to the place where I did things because God said it. And I understood that I'm wired like that. Like the things that I do to me, not because like I don't believe in celebrating myself or anything like that, but the things that I do to me are just like things, not in a bad way, but like God said I must do it, so I'm gonna do it. Like to me, it's not a big deal, you know. That goes without that doesn't speak also of the absence of reverence for God, but I'm just saying that to me, it's just me living my life. And so when people come in and they praise what you do, you kind of lose sight of, well, for me personally, right? You start seeing yourself in a different light and all of that. And so again, me going back to God and saying that I only want to be validated by you was to just say that I don't want to get lost in the source. I don't want to get lost in the source. I want to be cemented in the reality of me moving because you said I must move. Me saying something because you said I must say something. I never ever want to find myself in a place where I'm preparing a sermon and I'm kind of wanting to get a feeler of the room. What do people want to hear? I never want to do that. I never want to sit in preparation and think, yo, people are not going to stand up and clap for this part. I never want to get to that point. So, me really like expressing that to God was to just say, take me back to that point, that even if man were to not even come and say anything to me at the end of me sharing or ministering your word, I don't feel empty, that you are the one that fulfills me. That there's an example, a constant example that I'm finding myself exposed to, that you can stand in front and minister to people and the whole room will be blessed, and really and truly their lives will turn around. But when you sit in your secret place, God is just like, what on earth were you doing? I did not say go there. I did not say lay hands on that person. I did not say speak on that. And so essentially I'm saying that what the desire to be validated by man does is that it quenches your appetite to be validated by God. Because even if God says, Jeremiah, I've put my words in your mouth, you are going to completely dismiss that until your pastor comes to you and says, the words of God are in your mouth. Noma mhlampe, I've imparted my graces into you and your life. Then, only then will you feel like, you can do this, or yeah, you're capable, right? And I think it brings me the opportunity to rebuke myself, even. That one of the things that I said in this conversation was that, I feel very weird addressing myself as a minister because I have not been formally ordained yet. But why do I want to be validated by man in that office when the Lord already said before the foundations of the earth in the beginning of time that you are a minister? You know what I mean? Like, what the validation of man does is that it quenches our appetite to be validated by God himself. And so the reason why I wanted us, or the Lord willed for us to speak on validation, the root, is that the presence of desiring validation from man speaks to the absence of knowing who you are in God. It speaks to the absence of knowing who he is. Because when you know who he is, you know who you are. And that's all you need. In essence, and I'm coming for everybody at this point, I feel like, in essence, if you are a person that seeks validation from God, you're not confident. You don't believe in yourself. There's not an ounce of confidence in your body. Because why do you want me to give you the key to be okay with yourself? Why do you want me to okay you being okay in your own body, in your own life, in your own walk, in your own call, in your own ministry, in your own mind, in your own heart, your own experiences? Why must I validate your past traumas? What? Like, what life is this? What do we think this is? Like, why do we think like that? You know what I mean? Like, when did we get there? How drained are we of the person of God that we've deified men around us? Why do you want to walk into a room and be accepted? Jesus was not so it's all coming full circle. Sorry, guys. I'm having one of those moments that you have in Bible study when the word just starts making sense and it's clicking. That Jesus wasn't accepted. Who are you? Who are you? And what does the Lord owe you that he didn't give to Jesus? Then even now, within the church, there are people that haven't fully accepted Christ. You want to be accepted by those same people. Ungubani na. Oh, ungubani, who are you? You know what I mean? I feel like I'm chatting to a girlfriend right now. Let's let the attitude subside. But yeah, we are seated with validation. The root, the root, the root, the root, the rife presence of seeking, desiring validation from man is the absence of God in your life. It's the absence of God in your life. Like, one thing that I've realized about myself is that I'm at my most confident when devotion is intact. Oh, when I stop sitting with God, I don't even know whether or not I'm coming or going. And that's where validation begins to reign and rule in my mind and in my heart. But when I'm sitting with God, like, I'm just living life, bro. I'm just living life. Whether or not you accept or approve of me, I'm good. Because I know that the one person that matters loves me and I'm the apple of his eye. And for me, that's all that matters. And I think also that's why we see like the drastic gap between, I mean, could relate, could not, but that's why we see the drastic gap between women that were raised in households with present fathers, that those people are confident. Like, Jonga, my dad at home loves me. That person will protect me. I know that he cares about me more than anything. But find somebody that grew up without a father figure. That is not somebody that is confident. And that's why you find the reign of daddy issues within their intimate relationships, that people end up looking for their fathers in men, that they seek the validation of the person that they are dating over and above everything else because there was a lack and an absence of a father figure. And I'm speaking from experience that in one of my relationships, I deified the man that I was dating. I wanted when he said no, like sana, you know? So, yeah. Once again, we're seated with validation, the root, and I want to re-emphasize that your desire to be validated by us is because you don't know God. You don't know who he is, and you don't know yourself. And maybe when you sit with God and you sit with yourself, you won't need us to sign off anything because you have the imprint of God himself on you, in every part of you. You're not going to need us. But yeah, I think that was a very short episode, guys. I'm yet to go over 45 minutes. But yeah, I stop and the Lord says, stop. If I continue speaking, saying namanga, saying namanga. But once again, I hope you guys have an amazing week, a great remainder of the month of April. And I hope that May will be an amazing month as well. I love you guys and the Lord loves you. And I'm blowing all the kisses under the sun, darling. Mwah. Once again, I'm your host, Kanye M, and thank you so much for listening.